Hello, Mr. Charles. Thank you. It's definitely an absolute pleasure to be here this great afternoon. I say this is a pleasure because really it's a good Easter Monday, and happy Easter to you all participants. For me, actually, I'm here to enjoy myself. So I don't know what's in store to the good and great, amazing participants or other aspirants that we have this particular afternoon. Really, as I just mentioned, it's an absolute pleasure being here and to actually moderate this particular session this wonderful afternoon. And just to reiterate, I'm here to enjoy myself, and I hope also you as contestants and participants are going to be here to enjoy yourselves. I believe probably from the side of Team Charles and the rest, or rather the incumbent outgoing team of the alumni chapter, I believe probably for the contestants' sake, I hope you have the script for this particular session clear and sound, in the sense that what I will start by doing is in the next 5 minutes, in no particular order whatsoever, I will plug you in, or rather, I will call each and every of you contestants to just probably step in and introduce yourself. Then probably after that, in no particular order, again, I'll probably lead by just plugging you in and asking you to take us through really what exactly is your manifesto. Why precisely do you really want this particular role? What should probably the entire alumni team of the country expect from you? So please, let's probably engage, let's enjoy ourselves, and I hope really we get a lot out of this particular session. My name is Kevin Rendiek, as Mr. Charles has indicated, and I'll want to state, or rather I'll want to keep the ball running. And ladies first, allow me to probably call upon Madam Linda Chipkony to probably just start it up for us by saying who she is, what really excites her to probably be part of this particular debate, and maybe in no particular way, just tell us what maybe the alumni chapter of Kenya should expect from you in case you are elected as the chair. So Madam Linda, please, over to you. Start it up for us.
Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. First, I'm Linda Chipkony. I'm an entrepreneur in the agricultural value addition sector, whereby I value add different agricultural products. I'm also the president and founder of Youth in Trades and Business Association Kenya. I'm also the founder of Abraham Lincoln Youth Initiative Kenya, and Yali Dao Cohort 1 alumni. And I'm so passionate about youth leadership in Africa. And that is why I've decided to contest for the chairperson position, of which I'm passionate about young people taking up leadership positions and not waiting for them to be given the spaces, but for them to take up the space. So yeah, I'm ready to go to the yearly field. Yeah.
Thank you for that brief intro, Madam Linda. Second person whom I'll want to reach out to probably just take us in a brief in terms of who he is, why this particular position is Mr. Linus. Lee Kochel, I hope I've gotten your name clear and sound. Mr. Linus, over to you, sir. Linus, your mic is mute. Probably if you could unmute yourself, please.
Right, sorry. Thank you and good evening to all members. I'm Linus Kochel Gitahi, that is my name, from Bungoma County. Coming from cohort 42, the very recent cohort. And what really excites me is my undying passion, for youth leadership in this society with an expansive youth population has always given me the courage and the audacity to step up and take leadership positions whenever a chance avails through democracy. Linus is a graduate teacher and a psychologist by profession. And currently he's serving in Bungoma County as the programs officer in charge of youth affairs and health advocacy. Previously, I'm a founder of an organization known as Reaching the Unreached, which is at the final stages of registration, basically to reach out to the vulnerable in the society, especially the orphaned, the old, and the less privileged. I'm excited to be here. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Linus. A pleasure to actually have you this afternoon. Coming in next, I will wish to bring on board Mr. Nelson Komba, if at all he can hear me clear and sound. Mr. Nelson Komba, over to you, sir. The floor is yours, a brief intro of whom you are, what excites you about all these, and probably what should you expect from you this afternoon. Nelson, please. Your mic is muted, Nelson. Probably if you could unmute it.
Thank you so much, Mr. Andieki. Can you confirm that my voice is clear and audible?
Yeah, sure. I do confirm your voice is up and sound.
Thank you so much. Before I say something, I first want to commend you for the work you've done for YALI. When I first organized the YALI fact check event at the US Embassy, you were one of the you were also one of the moderators for that particular event. And I'm glad that today we can meet with you once again. Before I even say anything again, I would like to thank all the alumni who turned up to support the funeral of Annie Nderitu, that is cohort 25. Thank you so much for what you did and how you came in to support her. I'm coming from a background of alumni relations. Most recently, I've led the ULED leadership program that is centered in Tanzania in establishing the alumni networks in East Africa. To be specific, I have led the country coordinators in establishing alumni networks. To be specific, I have led in establishing alumni networks in Uganda, in Tanzania, in Rwanda, Burundi, and even here in Kenya. This is an experience I've gotten from working in different parts of East Africa. And this experience has ignited my interest to realize the greater impact of alumni in giving back to the community and also in developing projects work around uplifting communities. I'm also working at Metis Collective, an organization supporting education. As I'm speaking, I've engaged 2 alumni already. I've engaged Emma, I've engaged Stowell from cohort 25. On April, they'll be talking on an event on mental health in that organization that I work for. I also work with the United Nations Volunteers Program. I am centered in the co-innovation team. My skills that I utilize are innovation in product and design. I have also supported the YALI network per se. I have supported the YALI in organizing for YALI networks, organizing for events. I have brought down different people to join the RLC in the training. I have trained them and prepared them to take up the training. And as I am speaking, my passion for this YALI network, for this YALI alumni is to ensure that they are centered and they have the capacity to feature in development work, both locally and even internationally. So I am very much prepared for this, and I am looking forward to engage with most of you because I am sure that my skills are well enough. I'm sure that my capacity is well enough. My capacity in alumni relations is well enough prepared to ensure that all the alumni's interests, all their projects, they're captured going forward. Thank you so much.
All right, much appreciated, Mr. Nelson Komba, for your wonderful, great introduction. Allow me to bring on board Mr. David Tuito Ek. David Tuito Ek, if probably can hear me, please kindly just get on board and maybe tell us what you're about and what excites you about all this. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Kevin, kindly confirm whether you can hear from me.
Yes, Mr. David, I can hear you clear and sound. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. So first and foremost is to thank you guys for the great coordination you're providing, even inviting us for this debate. And to my colleague, happy Easter. I hope you're doing fine wherever you are. So my name is David Lelimoi Tuitoek, from an indigenous community living in Baringo, Laikipia, Nakuru, and also Trans Nzoia. I'm a passionate peace advocate, a human rights defender, a very passionate environmentalist, and I'm also a voice of special interest group as categorized by our Kenyan Constitution. I've participated in many functions, not really on yearly, but on youth empowerment, more specifically on leadership. And my focus is to see a very stable kind of an alumni that is very sensitive to the special interest group in our country, so that we can be an alternative to what is experienced in our country. So I'm glad and I'm looking forward to engage with my fellow contestants as we have a constructive discussion. Thank you.
Much appreciated, Mr. David. Allow me to probably now bring on board Mr. Hamisi. Mr. Hamisi, if you can hear me, Hamisi. I don't know if probably saw him online. Mr. Hamisi Ndune, probably Mr. Charles, you can bring me up to order if Hamisi is in or not.
He seems to be having an internet challenge. I'm seeing him coming on and dropping off. I think he is in a place with poor internet, but right now he's not on board.
Oh, right now he's not on board. And if Amis is not on board on my script, allow me to probably bring on board Mr. Alan Karani Ndungo. I've not also probably seen Mr. Alan on.
Alan has also not logged in.
All right, and Mr. Okech Kevin Onyango.
He's not logged in.
Mr. Okech Kevin Onyango is not logged in, so probably.
Hamisi is back. Hamisi Ndune.
All right, Mr. Hamisi Ndune, if probably you can hear me, is your internet all right? Probably you can just get by and do a bit of introduction in terms of who you are. What excites you about this particular position, and what should people expect from you?
All right, thank you very much. And allow me to apologize shortly. There were some manpower issues here, which made my connectivity to disappear, but I think I'm now back. All right, so my name is Hamis Ndune, and I'm a young man. In fact, I'm 27 years, and I'm from Mombasa, but particularly in Kilifi County. And I've been a person who value a life of significance and not just a life of survival. And that's why I decided now, let me join hands with the early chapter, especially Kenya, so that we can see how we can escalate what has been done so far, so that we can even make it better and better. And as of now, I'm working with an organization called Generation Kenya, which is a global organization which is championing young people in terms of job creation and opportunities. And I serve as the lead consultant in Mombasa County. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for that introduction, Mr. Hamisi. And Mr. Hamisi, if you allow me, let me put the center of focus to you as a person. You're all the way in Kilifi County, right?
Yes, yes.
Do you probably maybe bring me into context how you will want to lead the alumni chapter of Kenya from Kilifi?
Okay, as in the alumni chapter as a whole, I as Lune, I think, I don't know if you are getting me.
Yes, I'm getting you clear and sound.
Oh, you're getting me, all right, all right. I as a chairperson, as I've said, I always value to live a life of significance, not just a life of survival. So I have been visioning on how I can try to change the narrative that is that we have as far as Kenya is concerned. And I want to focus more, especially on 5 key things. And one, I was trying to see how the situation we have right now as the yearly chapter, because before the previous regime, which joined 2019 up to this year, we saw some transformation, especially in terms of how we are going to devolve some of the projects, because I remember 2017, 2018, we had a lot of issues because most of the activities were being done within Nairobi County or the outskirts of Nairobi. But when the new team came, it had to now implement and escalate the same and devolving every and each project so that we can have a better impact to the grassroots. So the situation that we have right now, it is not that the best. So we want to better the best. And another thing that I would like to do, which also I'm going to share with you, especially my manifestos, and you will see that I have several things that I want to put in place with the team which is going to be elected, so that as we serve this chapter, we are able to map around those key areas which I want to share with my colleagues, especially those who will be elected in the different positions, so that we can see now that these actions are going to be put in place and they are going to be executed. And not only being executed, but we're also going to have a control of making sure that whatever we are going to execute comes to reality, not just remaining on papers. Thank you.
Whatever you execute is brought into reality, does not only become on paper. All right, I will probably bring in, I'll probably bring you up later based on based on what you've mentioned. Allow me to go on to Madam Linda Chikon. Madam Linda, probably this particular next segment is for you. Probably from where you see it as cohort number 1, specifically for DAO, I want you to probably bring into context. What do you think will be your first 90 days? How will your first 90 days look like, Madam Linda, if you are actually elected as a chair leader Alumni Chapter of Kenya? Could you probably just contextualize for us how the first 90 days of your activity is going to be? Madam Linda, if you can hear me, please.
Yes, I can. Thank you. Okay, the first 90 days of my leadership, God willing, if I'm elected, I'll first familiarize with the outgoing leadership, from chairperson to communications to networking and everything, what they've been doing, what they've achieved, what they were hoping to achieve that was not achieved, and from what they've not achieved or what is left to achieve, then I'll start from there, because in some of them, maybe it will be things that people were familiar with on the ground, but they were hoping to see something, but it has not yet been done. So I'll work on that. Also now, from then on, I'll start familiarizing myself with all the county chapters that are there, what they've been doing, what are their challenges, what have they been able to achieve, what are they hoping to achieve. And after that, after all the familiarization, learning and everything, I'll get into my manifesto of what I'm hoping to work on, what I'm hoping to achieve with, and also getting to learn with now the newly elected leadership of the different positions, networking, partnerships, communications, and all that, to learn with them what are they hoping to see from the position of chairperson, so that we can work with them from their ideas, thinking, and also from their manifestos. Yeah.
Madam Linda, let me put you into a bit of task onto what you've mentioned. You've actually indicated that you'll want to familiarize yourself. The first 90 days when you come into office is when you'll want to familiarize yourself with what the outgoing team have done. So does it mean that you've ended up applying for this particular position and already contesting without actually necessarily attempting to familiarize yourself with what the current existing team have done? Is that the case?
No, that's not the case. In my case, I mean in terms of achievement, in terms of activities, in terms of what was expected of them as the office. That is what I'm hoping to work on, because I commenced, it was last year in, when was it? Around April, May. So I have not fully comprehended on what the office, because the office was elected before I was even a yearly alumni or a yearly person. So I hope to learn from them on what they've been doing, because as a person, I first love learning about things first. And it is from learning that I'm able to actualize, understand, and comprehend on what is expected of me as a leader. And then now I get to work on what I hope to achieve as a leader in regards to my manifesto.
Much appreciated, Madam Linda, for your response, and to that, thank you. I will come back onto you later. Allow me to probably go all the way to Bungoma County. Mr. Linus, if probably you can get me clear and sound, this is for you. Again, I'll want to understand from you, Linus, if I got you clear and sound from your introduction, you're based in Bungoma. How do you probably, the previous probably two county leaderships of the country has kind of in a way been central from Nairobi. So how will you really change this particular narrative and intend to run the Alumni County of Kenya from the locality of Bungoma? Probably if you can just get me started by that question. And number two, which will be almost similar to what I asked Mr. Hamis Indune earlier on, is will you probably just mention 3 core areas which you feel the first 90 days on office are going to look like? So Mr. Linus, please, it's my pleasure to ask you that, and I'll be glad to hear your response. And also, I believe also other participants will be glad to hear your input onto it. Mr. Linus, please just get by.
Thank you. I hope you can hear me loud and clear.
Yes, Mr. Linus, I can get you clear and sound.
So thank you so much. I'm privy to the fact that I know
Mr. Linus, it's like your audio is not clear and sound, or probably there's a technical hitch.
No, Nairobi is very central, and being central, can you hear me?
We had lost you there.
Hello?
Probably you could start again because we had lost you a bit.
Oh, sorry. There's a lot of rains where I am right now. I think it's interfering with my network, but I probably pray that we'll manage.
All right.
Yeah, I say that I know, yes, Nairobi, it's very central. And I want to agree to the fact that I am in Bungoma County, which is far from Nairobi. But the nature of my work in Bungoma County is very flexible. And most of the time, from where I sit, I deal with the partnership, you know, both private partnership and even the public partnership. And most of the time, I'm based in Nairobi to do deals and seal deals with various partners. Number two, I know the world we are living in, it's a technological world that things are they're moving very fast. Like right now, I'm in a position to connect with quite a number of alumni and yet I'm in Bungoma. So apart from availing myself to Nairobi when I'm needed, and also I'm found in Nairobi most of the time, I will make use of technology to reach out to members and serve all the members across the 47 counties, especially through webinars where I cannot avail myself on time. Handling your second questions on 3 main things that I can handle in the first 90 days of my leadership if elected, I would wish to state clearly that the very first thing that I will focus on is to consult and learn from the outgoing team, and basically get to learn from them on how to have effective committee outputs, get to learn from them on mapping of the alumni so that you can reach all the alumni, and also get to learn from them on effective inclusivity so that I can manage to bring all the alumni on board. Number 2, I will focus on connecting with the RLC leadership at the center, because I know the RLC, it is very key in running the projects, mentorship, and offering support. So on my first 90 days, I will connect with them, and after connecting with them, I will route them to visit the effective, functioning, and vibrant county chapters, just to get to see what these alumni are doing, listen to them, and offer the relevant support to them. The third aspect that I will want to focus on the very first 90 days of election is doing a frequent webinar session with county chapter officials, just to get to read from the same page on an effort of seeing how we can make the county chapters very vibrant and functioning, I believe, together with other elected officials, this would be very possible. Thank you.
Interesting how you mentioning that it's a virtual world, and probably you're going to benchmark activities around virtual activities. All right, Mr. Linus, much appreciated for your response. And remember, these particular questions, for me, I'm just like a tool. I really probably hope, and as we probably move forward, these are not probably questions. Actually, these are just probably questions that serve as the general umbrella questions from other alumni. So all I just want to urge you up as we get on with the debate is be deliberate as possible, because you're going to be held accountable based on that. Up next, I'll probably want to go on to Mr. Nelson Komba's side. Mr. Nelson, if you can probably hear me.
I can hear you. There is some noise. I don't know, is it you?
No. Probably it's side. It's not from my side. Maybe Mr. Charles and the team behind the scenes can probably find it and mute it up. Okay. Well, let's then progress. Mr. Komba, this is unto you. And probably I will also maybe just want to ask you a first question in relations to what I have seen on your manifesto, right? Ended up saying you've ended up theming so much of your campaign around entrepreneurship. All right. I don't know if this will be the right way to ask it, but bearing in mind that the entire alumni team of the country is mixed on 3 thematic areas: entrepreneurship, public administration, and civic leadership. Does it mean that those who are in the public and administration sector are going to be left out? Does it also mean that those that are within the civic sector are going to be left out? And question number 2, probably if you can note them down somewhere, then you can probably answer them in a unanimous way. I'll also maybe want to understand how best you unify the entire chapter if by case you get into office. And 3, which I'll also want to put you onto task on is on the entire element of integrity. And integrity here is how will you affirm integrity when it comes to privatizing and upholding alumni data? Probably those particular three questions is what I'll want to start you up with. And I hope probably if time will do us justice, I will indulge you more as time gets by. So Nelson, please, those three questions to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ranjit. Probably I would like to start with the last question on integrity. I wish to affirm to the alumni that the reason why I joined the Yale Leadership Center, it is because I was running integrity clubs. So I'm a person full of transparency, and whatever I stand for, I believe in. And when I organized the fact check event, in fact, Ranjit speaking to you as our moderator, was the same moderator when we organized the fact check event, bringing together different stakeholders, even in the media sector, bringing together individuals even from fact check to understand a few issues when it comes to integrity of data and the things that we were discussing on how people should put privacy on their data. For instance, how to read policy guidelines before even enrolling on a particular mobile application. And therefore, I believe I am the person with the utmost integrity. I'm able to hold on the database that has been protected. This is something that I have done before. For instance, in the ULEAD network, we have got more than 1,500 alumni. I have been withholding that data with a lot of integrity. And therefore, given an opportunity to lead the chapter of Kenya, I believe that I have the necessary skills and capacity to ensure that the data is protected and information that is given out is fully synchronized. And just to add flesh onto that, even on my personal gadgets and everything, I ensure that all information that is left out is not revealing maybe much or anything like that. I ensure that I provide information that is clear, information that is true, information that can be relied on. Okay. Let me move on to the next question of I relying so much on entrepreneurship. Actually, that is not true. If you look at my manifesto very clearly, all right? And I want to explain it very clearly. Currently, we are living in a COVID-19 situation. Even people who are running programs, projects right now, the funds have been frozen. I've been talking to a colleague and they were telling me they were running a program on skill development in schools. But because the funds were frozen, all right, they have been forced to come up with different ways of living. And we are living in a COVID-19 situation. Even organizations that didn't run programs on COVID-19 have been forced to start coming up programs on COVID-19, all right? And that's why I've suggested on my manifesto, if you're an alumni and you're at home, you have been terminated, your contract has been terminated, you just have little money with you. You want to say, I want to start a business because you don't know when you resume job. And that's why I say, all right? We have got a couple of businesses that alumni can start as a way of bringing a livelihood back to them. And I have suggested that in my manifesto, if you want to register a company, if you want to register a business name, for instance, navigating things like tax issues, registration with e-citizen, you will get them free of charge, all right? People who have lost maybe businesses, all right? Their businesses were doing good. They can send a financial statement. We developed a program, we develop a project, all right, a proposal. We write to few people, we say, these are the number of alumni who are running successful business before COVID-19. But when we look at their financial statements, their businesses are not doing well. And we come up with something like a stimulus package. I will put it in quotes. We have organizations that would be interested to support our alumni to go back to their business as usual. They can support them with a few dollars to kickstart their business again, all right? And also let me talk about projects, for instance. People who are in civic leadership, I know they are running projects. My manifesto says that we will have a national project, for instance, a project on mental programming, for instance. We can have We can have, we as a national chapter having a project of mentor program. We have different counties mapping out schools that can be supported through this program. These county chapters, all right, they map for us these schools. What we do as a national chapter is to seek for funds, all right? We bring down different funds, different organizations to support this project, for instance, okay? And once we have got the funds, alumni in these different chapters will support this program, for instance. I know someone like Amisa Rashid, who's doing mental health. If you come with that program, you will support those schools that we have mapped out. And that one becomes our project as the national chapter project being supported by the county chapters, all right? With mapping up of schools, supporting in this area, so that if anyone comes to the Yali Alumni chapter of Kenya, is being told, the Yali Alumni chapter of Kenya is running a full project on mental health, and they have mapped out over 2,000 schools in Kenya. Alumni in different areas are supporting. Number two, on the project, we have county chapters, all right? These county chapters, we don't just them to engage in activities of going to ride and hike and going back home to sleep. We want the alumni to be engaged in projects. And that's why I have said, we want this project to be inclusive, even of people with disabilities, they can participate. For instance, people can come together, alumni, they partner with CBOs, NGOs, they write a project, for instance, they seek for funds, for instance, Bungoma County, for instance. You have realized there is a problem of children who are suffering because their parents died because of COVID-19. You want to say that is...
Mr. Komba, I will kindly please request you to maybe sum it up a little bit so that we am able to indulge the pending two participants. So probably if you could summarize this.
All right, thank you so much. So let me finish up on the project for a second. What I am looking for people in civic engagement is they should run these projects through partnerships, okay? Resource mobilization, so that they can come up and implement full project, all right? But we should know county by what they do as a project, something that has run from baseline up to conclusion. We have a report that Nakuru County was implementing this particular project. These were the alumni that were involved, for instance. People in public management, as you've asked me, they have an upper hand, all right, in even guiding us, connecting us with different organizations, the ministries, different organizations, all right, uplifting our work that we're already doing. But it doesn't mean that we're leaving them out. We can roll out trainings on them to develop their skills to be engaged even more, all right? Let me talk about unifying the alumni, right? First of all,
briefly, Mr. Komba.
That is the last one. That is the last one. I have looked at the county chapter heads, and if you look at my manifesto, the first thing is to do a strategy review. The strategy review of the alumni should reflect what is happening in the country. All these chapter heads should be in one platform like WhatsApp or Slack, where we talk and identify some of the key priorities that we could do together, all right? We bond. We even have a retreat. We bring together the county chapter heads. And then after that, all right, we go back now to the ground. Each chapter head telling us this is what our people are saying. In Kilifi County, there is a problem of teenage pregnancy. We want to write a proposal to USA. Okay, we are going to give you an expert in proposal writing. Okay, which organization are you going to work with? You're going to work with Shofco. Shofco is here. Okay, let us do a consortium. Then we get the funds. That is the kind of an alumni I am looking at. An alumni that is empowered, that they can do a project and stand even before television and say, we are launching a project. Our ambassador is here. That is the vision I'm seeing for this alumni chapter.
Mr. Komba, probably let me pick you out on your last statement. Do you feel like the current pre-existing alumni are not doing projects? Is that what you're trying to say?
They are doing projects, okay?
Two which did not come out really clearly is how do you envision unifying the alumni chapter of Kenya? For example, from where I sit, I feel scared in the sense that if we progress, so maybe let's say Komba comes into office today, so it means that 2 years down the line from today, We'll not be hearing of cohort 1, cohort 2, or cohort 3. We'll just be hearing about cohort 40, cohort 41, cohort 42. That's the reason why I specifically asked, what's your vision around really unifying, rather attempting to unify the alumni chapter of Kenya? Probably if you could just maybe take a minute to clarify that before I get into Mr. David Tuoke and Mr. Hamisi Ndune. Sure.
Thank you so much. On the first question on the project, all right? I have seen the projects that I've done. I have seen the partnership that I've done. But personally, I don't just want alumni to be spectators in project one, for instance. I want to see more projects that are aimed at even supporting individual alumni. Let me talk about something like a trade exhibition, where we go here, we ask Mbadi of Nairobi here, give us Biashara Street. We want to advertise our project on Biashara Street during maybe an event, okay? We want to see an elaborate way of alumni benefiting even from these projects alone. We don't just want to see social events alone, okay? What is in it for us as an alumni? That's what I'm talking about. The last question on unifying, all right? You have to understand the people who graduated earlier from the center have got different priorities, all right? Some of them have parents, all right? Some of them are even abroad, all right? Okay? So the first thing is to listen to them. Ask them, how do you want to be engaged in the activities of alumni, for instance? Once they suggest to us these things, then we are going to incorporate in that strategy that I have suggested. The strategy to review, first of all, why is cohort 1, cohort 20 not participating even in social activities, all right? Then they tell us, Nelson, what we want is we want to participate in projects that are even income generating. And then I will tell them, yes, we are organizing for a trade exhibition in Nairobi. You think this is something you will come? Then they tell me, yes, I think that is a good idea. I have got bags here that I want to sell. Then they tell me, organize for it, we shall come. If they come, then we shall know the strategy that was there was not working. So let us implement this strategy that is now working. That is my idea, finding out what is it that is not working for them, and then reviewing the strategy of engaging with them. Because I believe even the online cohort, there is a way we should engage with them because they were not there physically. Because what we experienced and what we experienced was not the same. For instance, the online cohort, given an opportunity, I'll ensure that they come together as a cohort, supported, okay? And I want just to assure the alumni group, all the alumni, if Nelson Komba is elected, no one will pay fares to attend events. I want alumni to be empowered so that when they come to this event, they feel comfortable because of the challenges that we're already facing. So the online cohort will be empowered to come together. I've seen them asking for t-shirts and all that. These are things we can print and even send to them during a come together or something like that. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Komba, for your remarks. Allow me to probably call upon Mr. David to echo David, from his initial introduction, believing that he is really a voice to the minority. David, I will wish to take cue from some of the questions I asked your previous contestants. How possible and able will it be for you to run the alumni chapter of Kenya from where you are? That's number one. Then number two, you look so cool, calm, collected, and all. Do you believe that's a wise spirit enough that will probably unify the chapter? And the question onto that for me is, how will your first 90 days look like? What measures are you looking at putting into place to just ensure that the alumni chapter of Kenya remains united? Yes, it could be probably challenging, but probably what measures are you probably envisioning that could make that probably possible? So in no particular order and style, please just go ahead and answer those particular questions, Mr. David. Your mic is muted, David, so probably if you could just unmute it.
Thank you. Sorry for that. Thank you so much once again for the opportunity. Very brief. As a young person and a very enthusiastic and also willing to secure and create new networks, I don't limit myself to just one particular region. In terms of mobility, I do operate in 4 counties, Laikipia as my native, Baringo as my indigenous point of view, Nakuru for the youths that are there, especially from Marishoni, who are indigenous, and also in Nairobi and Machakos. So what I'm trying to bring out very clearly is that in terms of mobility and willing to take part in all the key activities for the alumni, David is more than willing. Go to the second question. This is the aspect of inclusion. And I'm so happy because maybe many of you don't know, I'm from cohort 41, an online version. And I like telling people when it comes to leadership, it's not about an event. It's not about, you know, a single kind of an attire, but it's about life. Leadership is about living yourself. Be who you are, being very practical, very human, and also willing to bring and incite a new kind of version. So in terms of inclusion, this is something I will even call all the alumni. When we are forming our committees, especially the 5 basics, let us try to elect leaders from different points of view in terms of region, in terms of expertism, in terms of the gender, and in terms of a community. Reason being, we want to be an alternative to what is experienced in our country. It is Kenya Alumni Chapter, and we have a constitution, and also I believe we have our own structure and bylaws that govern the yearly alumni. I believe we should speak from one point of view. So that is what I will call it's a challenge that I'm going to put across to all of us who are alumni. And within the 90 days, what exactly am I intending to do, which is not my personal responsibility, but our responsibility? Teamwork. I would wish to get a very comprehensive report in regards to, one, what the current team has done, which I myself am aware of some, the gaps that exist, and what they would really wish us to fast track as a new office. So within the first month, that is what we are going to work on. And this is immediately after a very effective transition. This is something I've even challenged the national government and county governments. Why do we get many projects initiated by others, stall, and yet we have a new office? There's no proper transition. And I think that is what I strongly believe is something we can prioritize. Within the other month, we'll have to develop what we call a national action plan. And this is now to bring on board all the key projects from various chapters in terms of county, also the objective from the RL, which we work together, we cannot work in isolation. And again, incorporating what the current regime were already working on. And I think now incorporating what I strongly believe we as the alumni should prioritize. So that is what I will do. Now, towards the last month of the 90 days, what exactly are we going to do? Guided by our national action plan, we shall have set a clear priorities. We shall have sealed all the possible, especially the critical gaps that we know is going to affect us going forward. So I think in a very brief context, that is what I can share. Lastly, maybe something very sensitive that I want to share with all of us. Integrity is a component that all of us need to strive to have if we want to lead people. Integrity in the context of our commitment to whatever we've been entrusted without any follow-up. And I think by saying this, we are dealing with a very robust and a sensitive social class aspect. Youth are very energetic, and I've dealt with them for around 10 years now. And I know what they are capable of. Unless they are given a clear structure, a clear guideline, of course, respecting their diversity, then we can move as an alumni. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Much appreciated, Mr. David, for that. Time for me again to probably go all the way again to County Kilifi, Mr. Hamisi Ndune. Hamisi, probably on this particular section, I'll want you to probably attempt and make it precisely short and clear. We've talked about the 90 days. We've talked about the integrity bit, listening to it across the participants. What makes you uniquely differentiated across your fellow contestants on this particular call? What do you feel really makes you uniquely differentiated, you, Mr. Hamisi, and why do you think the alumni should vote into you?
Okay, thank you very much for that good question. And I would like to say that, as I have said earlier, Ndune is a person who values actions. I value actions because it's only actions that give us results. And for the last 10 years, in fact, if I want to be specific on time, I've been involving more, especially on the community and championing for the rights and even for the lives of the young people. And there's a lot of dynamics when it comes to approaching the young people. And the goodness out of it is that all young people in Kenya and even in Africa, we have commonalities in terms of problems. And I would like to say that Ndune is a unique person, or is a unique young man, because I'm a person who is very, very innovative, and I'm a person who is trusted to the utmost, because as we are talking right now, despite being an engineer, because I'm an industrial chemist by profession, and I have been trying myself to see that it's not about I personally getting a job, but it's I personally creating jobs for the young people. And through my championing and through my activities, one, I have tried to come with an innovative idea where last year, April, I was able to innovate an idea which is not trying, but doing. So we have been giving young people interest-free loans so that we can energize their ideas into reality. Because we believe when you empower young people, when I talk about young people, I include even the people with different abilities. We are talking about the women, so that when they create jobs, they are also creating jobs for others. And there's that continuity in job creation. So in that organization that I founded, that is last year, and up to now, I'm very glad because we have reached to 14 counties by last year, December. And these 14 counties, we have members across, you see. And then another thing, secondly, I'm also chairing the National Uwezo Fund, which is basically youth fund for the young people, but I'm chairing the Rabai constituency in Kilifi County. And I have been on the forefront to make sure each and every young person who is eligible has applied that opportunity, and the disbursement has been done fairly and squarely, and not only just done fairly and squarely, but they also have created a monetary evaluation team, which is able to monitor these young people as they execute their businesses, as they execute their projects. And then lastly, if I talk also about my uniqueness, as I have said earlier, I'm a person who don't value more on just wording and stories, but I believe in actions. And that's why just being results-oriented person is something that has been always giving me an eager to make sure that whatever I say whatever I promise, whatever I write, it must come into reality. And that's why when I'm elected as the chairperson of the Kenyan chapter, I will have to sit down with the new elected team so that I get their views, whatever they have promised to the Kenyan chapter, because I always take leadership as a debt. And when something is a debt, you have to pay back. So I will have to see now, if for example, for the communications chair, what have they promised the alumni? When we go to the engagement and the mobilization, what are those key things that they have tried to promise the alumni? So that when we sit down, we are going to come up with viable solutions, which are going to make sure that whatever we have promised as the chapter, we are going to deliver. And this deliver, we are going to get results which have impact to the young people. So that is uniqueness about me. And on the issue of 90 days, I think it is something which is very, very, very clear. And within my first 90 days as Ndune, the first thing I will have to engage the new team, which I've said within the first 1 month, so that we can have that kind of induction. Sorry?
Fair enough, Mr. Hamisi. No need to repeat yourself right there, so that probably can plug in each and every person. Fair enough. Yeah, allow me to interject you right there, so probably can bring their other additional persons. Unless really maybe there's something pressing that you want to mention, Mr. Hamisi.
Yeah, so finally, so that is what I have said. Yeah, innovation is key in me, and I believe in results and not just wording and stories. Thank you.
All right, innovation are key for you. Linking up onto what you mentioned the first time, not trying to ensure that you put things that are put on paper into context. All right, fair enough. Thank you for your remarks. Madam Linda, if you're there, this is your chance again, the only female contestant on this particular call. Madam Linda, I want to ask you again, what, from all you've mentioned, linking you onto the first response that you gave, saying that you really want to ensure continuity, and continuity for you is putting into context what the outgoing office have done, right? Number two, to just ensure I got you really right initially, you talked about graduating in April, meaning you came and got the current team into office. All right. So giving you a benefit of doubt, what do you think makes you uniquely differentiated to be the chair lady of this particular chapter, and to really drive the mission of unification, putting in integrity, and ensuring again that the respective county chapters' work gets on? I will probably give you a chance to lobby for yourself why you tend to imagine you're really uniquely differentiated and are positioned enough to lead the alumni chapter of the country. Madam Linda, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much for this opportunity. What makes me uniquely differentiated? First is because I have experience in leadership. I run an organization, and in the organization we have different departments. And what makes this organization so unique and so different is because we are the first and probably the only organization in Africa that is advocating for the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, especially for the participation of women and youth. We're also the only organization that is advocating for youth and women to get into international trade, which is exports. Also in our organization, we are advocating for the inclusion of people with disabilities in international trade, which includes exports. If you check on government websites, especially on the Ministry of Trade and the American government, we've talked a lot about participation in international trade, and that is what I believe makes me unique, because of how I've decided to position myself and the youth of this country, as well as the youth of Africa, in taking advantage of international opportunities which have been given to us by the government. Also in my company, I employ people. that means I'm creating employment opportunities for the young people, because everyone in my company is a youth, including the ones who are here listening to me. So that means I have the interest of the youth at heart. My passion is to get youth into leadership position, spaces of influence, spaces of decision making, without them waiting for them to be given these spaces. If you know there's an opportunity for youth in international trade, don't wait for the government or the Ministry of Trade, State Department of Trade to make a call for the youth to come and get involved in this. We have to take ourselves there. Even if you read about me online, I've been able to challenge governments to create employment for the youth. Like right now, as much as others are going to give the youth employment opportunities, I can't give youth employment opportunities, but I will advocate for policies that will create a platform, as well as make an employability environment for the youth of Kenya favorable. Like right now, those of us who are in business, you know how business is hard. And it is through this that I've been able to lobby to national and county governments to create manufacturing hubs for the youth, to make business environments inclusive and favorable for the youth. We can't be having taxes and having licenses from one county to the other when the government can recognize a license certificate from Nairobi is enough for you to do business in Garissa, is enough for you to do business anywhere. If we start having multiple licenses, multiple taxes each and everywhere the youth go to do these businesses, environment will be hard, business will be hard. Reason being, that's nonsense, especially when the youth are trying to, not really nonsense, but it's not good, especially when we have people trying to create employment opportunities for themselves through this. We have DST, we have people who are on online content creation. If we start taxing these people who are using their own data, a data that depletes, immediately they start uploading videos on YouTube or on Instagram. Surely, how will we get a favorable employment for the people of Kenya, for the youth of Kenya, especially the youth and women, to do businesses? I'm also an AGPO entrepreneur. AGPO is really hard because you'll find that most of the people who are lobbying for these tenders are people who are using the faces of the youth to register companies, but in reality, they are the signatories in the bank. How will we compete with these people in such things? So if we can be able to streamline on how business is being done in this country, spaces for youth in politics is being done in this country, I believe we can be able to create change. You know, as an organization, I cannot be able to create as much influence as when I'm using the yearly platform, because through the yearly platform, we'll be able to use the voice, the power, the name of the yearly to bring change, as opposed to me using my own CBO, my own NGO, my own foundation to lobby for these things. But through the yearly platform, we can be able to sit with the government and tell them, please, let's sit here. This is the situation at the moment. The youth are suffering. The prices of fuel are escalating daily. Dollar going up. Things are really tough for us. How can we change this? Through the yearly voices, you can go with the person who will be in charge of communications, networking and everything. We go as a team, speak to the government, tell them our alumni are part of the people who are suffering. I've heard Komba talking about people who've been affected by jobs because of COVID-19. There are many people who are in jobs yesterday, today they're not at work because of COVID. Our industries have been affected. High cost of electricity, you can't get into manufacturing. Life is hard. If we can use the platform of Yali to talk about our issues as the youth, it will be easier, because other platforms that are there for the youth have been, dissolved. They're now government, they're now politics oriented. But Yali, being a non-partisan organization, we can use this platform to speak on behalf of the youth, the women, and everyone of this country. Then we can be able to create change. So I believe for me getting into this Yali chairperson position is because I want to use the voice, the power that Yali has to create change for our people. Because right now, let me tell you, people are suffering and it's going to get worse. I haven't seen any youth organization or any organization that is involved with the people telling the government they want to sit with them down, to talk with them about what is affecting the country. We're just pushing hashtags online. Who will listen to hashtags? We pushed our president out of Twitter. What will he see? Maybe the best he can get is to get information from the NIS or from his CSs, who obvious they will, yeah, they'll put some hot stuff. So it won't really affect our issues. But if whether elected from Yali or either elected as a chairperson or not, we need to have a seat with the government. Our youth are suffering. People are outside hustling. Health issues are there. We need to see how we can sit with the government and have our spaces had before the president decides on locking the country. He should get our opinion first on what will it be, how will it go for us? Because we have matatus lying in town. Those matatus, the touts, the drivers, some of them are youth. These people are suffering. They have families to feed. We've started the month. People have rental problems. How will they take care of the issues? So with or without yelling, we need to sit with the government and talk with them about our issues. It's not business as usual for us. Life is hard. We need to have our voices heard before decisions are taken. We must have our ideas, our issues factored in, because when the president says that experts talk to him, there are no youth in those experts, whatever teams.
All right.
We must be the ones to be the experts.
All right, Linda, thank you. Thank you very much for that. You've expressed yourself, brought in probably tangible, legit issues that affect a young person, integrated the bits of lockdown. At some point, actually, I had an issue with my connection and I was like, wow, let me probably hurry up and just enjoy catch you. And I just got in and you're still going on and on. Much appreciated for the energy. I probably hope the team and maybe the alumni listens onto this, and in the end, they tend to make a tangible decision into who is it they will want to lead the chapter of the country. Allow me now to go to Mr. Linus Bungoma County. I hope you're still there, Ikochel. Probably we put you so much onto the cold. I hope with the rain that's also going on down there, it hasn't affected your energy. Mr. Linus, same question that I've pushed to the other of the participants. Allow me to ask you, what makes you really uniquely differentiated? And number two, again, I will want you to highlight a bit in terms of how integrity, upright are you as an individual to actually handle alumni data. And three, which is going to be my three questions for you onto this particular segment, is what do you foresee as being one of your biggest challenges in leading the alumni chapter of Kenya? Mr. Linus, those particular three questions in no particular order, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Hope I can be heard loud and clear.
Yes, I'm getting you loud and clear, Mr. Linus.
So right away, I'll go to what makes me unique. And what makes Linus unique is that Linus is a team player. That is number one. Number two, what makes me unique is Linus cannot promise what he cannot deliver. I believe that makes me outstanding and very unique. For example, as an incoming chair that is elected, I cannot promise to give alumni jobs. I can also not promise to apply grants for alumni because I cannot deliver that. But understanding the function of the chapter is to connect alumni with opportunities and capacity build them to take advantage of such opportunities. That is what I can promise to deliver. So promising what I cannot deliver makes me very unique. And number three, what makes me unique is that Linus is a person who is always ready to consult others, who is always ready to learn and collaborate. And this will make me unique because I will really want to learn from even the outgoing team so that I can push their agendas. For example, learning from them, I understand like the current team has been able to visit 35 county chapters. From that point, if assuming office, then I'll make it a point to visit the 12 remaining chapters. So that automatically makes me unique. A team player, readiness to learn, collaborate, and also not promising what I cannot deliver. And number two, you've asked me to highlight, to speak something on integrity. I am a person who believes in integrity. Working in a government office where I am right now in Bungoma County, then definitely you must meet the prerequisite. Which one of them? It is integrity. And that puts me on a position to say that I will, if elected, I will serve the Yali alumni with lots of integrity. I will respect everyone. And also I will be transparent in handling the issues of the alumni. So alumni should understand that Linus is a person who believes in integrity, who believes in transparency, and that is an evidence that I am in a government office because I met the prerequisites of integrity. And I believe the data, the information, the basic data from the alumni will be on a safer hand, working together with the executive committee if elected. Quickly on the challenges that I foresee as a leader. Understanding that Yali had not been registered as an entity, it makes it difficult even to fundraise and even to receive contribution from members. And that is one of the immediate challenges that I see, that I foresee, the challenge of funding the Yali activities. And at the same time, this being a challenge that I oversee from where I'm seated, then I'm equally prepared to sing to it that from what the previous leadership has done, and I really want to commend them. For example, registering an entity, a charitable organization, then my effort will be, as I commend them from registering such an entity, to upscale and overcome this challenge of funding, then it means I need to fast track the activity of this entity, through which it would be very possible for members to contribute towards this entity. It would be very possible to fundraise because we have now a registered entity, and that makes it easier to open bank accounts, to open pay bills, and even fundraise. So that is the challenge that I oversee, and that is the possible solution to the challenge that I oversee. Thank you.
Thank you, much appreciated for your deep input, Mr. Linus. Probably let's see what the outcome is going to be until the end. I know, yes, probably from the brief was given, we're meant to do a discussion for about 90 minutes. I see I'm about 8 minutes less until that, and I have Mr. Komba to come by, and a bit of Mr. David to also come by. Mr. Komba, I probably gave you a bit of minutes to express yourself on your first round. At this particular juncture, I would wish to ask you, Mr. Nelson, please make it precise. What do you think makes you uniquely differentiated as a competitor? And in this particular instance, what do you think really makes you be a unique candidate to lead the alumni chapter of Kenya? And number two, to just beef up onto your point, I will probably be doing them an injustice not to ask this. Initially, I'd asked you the question around integrity and alumni data. And that particular question for me was critical in the sense that at the course of the campaigns, there has been screenshots which has flown in right, left, and center. And that in a way also uniquely positioned you as an interesting candidate. And in that particular regard, you understand very well the issues around data privacy and content conversations when it comes to a virtual platform. Do you have any right of reply to any person who doubts your capability because you have been at a point of sharing past conversations with your colleagues virtually? So those particular two components, Mr. Komba, kindly please make it precisely, simple, clear, and 2 minutes for you. I hope you'll do justice that particular time. Mr. Komba, the chance and the floor is yours.
Mr. Anjeki, I don't think 2 minutes is enough for me just for doing me justice. I have a right to reply first to my colleague whom I think is replying directly to me. First of all, I want to say job opportunities. If anybody is subscribed to what George Kisa is doing, George Kisa is always sharing for us opportunities. And for what I meant is that we need to have a more elaborate way of sharing opportunities to our alumni. For instance, what George Kisa is sharing opportunities to everybody, even those that you don't fit. And that's why I have proposed establishment of a yearly alumni opportunity desk or a yearly alumni opportunity website, where every year opportunities can be shared, including jobs. They can be shared on that particular website. And so let no one say that Nelson is promising jobs. Go into my Daily Windows groups. So many alumni are in the Daily Windows opportunities group. They are searching for jobs there. So I have the capacity to connect alumni for jobs. And for heaven's sake, my company is an outsourcing company, all right? I've even myself employed an alumni, all right? So for someone to say, am I over-promising and he has no capacity, he has not even proven to us even an opportunity he has shared with us before. Even as we have been campaigning, other countries have been sharing opportunities. He hasn't shared even a tip of an opportunity to an alumni. How will someone who has no capacity now say that we'll be sharing, connecting from where, when he's not even doing that particular connection? Let me move on to why am I unique? I'm unique because I understand what an alumni body is all about. An alumni body is not all about connecting. It's not all about social activity. Those are just things that people do after they have worked. If you go to Kenyatta University today, a building just after this, where the center is located, is for the Kenyatta University alumni body. If you look at the alumni, the Alliance High School alumni that I really like, they pay school fees for children and all that. I'm unique because I understand what an alumni stands for is to do projects. We might be very good in attending events and doing that, but if we don't have anything to show even to a development partner that this is what we want to do, then we are not unique. So the first thing, number one, is to ensure that the alumni chapter of Kenya has a project that it is doing, a project that it is being informed from the county governments, all right? A project that is being implemented by the county governments, all right? I'm unique because I am living in a COVID-19 reality. It is true that alumni are home. Most of them don't have jobs. Businesses are not doing well, all right? That's why I'm proposing coming up with activities that are seeing these challenges. For instance, I have suggested, okay, alumni who want support in registering their businesses, they can get this support from the alumni body, all right? I am unique because I have realized that the county governments, the county chapters, they can work with the county governments. They can work with these organizations to do a full project that can even employ an alumni, all right? And that is the future that I'm overseeing for this alumni group. I'm looking at an alumni group that is more robust in what they do, so that when you are organizing for a social activity, okay, we are coming together after hiking to Goni, after going to run in Karura. We go have a session, yes. Can Linus tell us what he has been doing in Bungoma there? Linus tells us, here we partnered with the county government, we partnered with the Pukusu Land Association, and we are implementing a project aimed at supporting children whose parents have died due to COVID-19. That is what I want to hear from an alumni group. It's not only going to run and then going back home with no even a sense of what brings us together. What is it that we do? What is it that alumni do? If someone asked me today, can you give me a full project of the previous regime? What is it I have done? They are leaving office. We don't even have a full report of what they do. We do not have data of how many alumni have been reached. And so to me, it is wounding because it tells me that they are doing projects, but these projects are not monitored. They are not evaluated. So I'm coming here to do that, to ensure that I bring a review to the strategy that is looking at the challenges that are currently facing alumni, the current of jobs, connect alumni to various platforms where they can apply and get jobs, do placements. And let me talk about placement for a minute. We can recommend alumni to different organizations, okay? We can recommend to them. The recommendation letter, I realize the recommendation letter from the center is very sketchy, for instance. It doesn't even say, where is it that this person came to the center? It's just few sentences. We need to know an alumni, recommend an alumni to a big opportunity by writing a very good recommendation letter. someone will get a job, all right? And those are some of the things I'm proposing for this alumni, okay? And even as I finish, I don't know if you have been in these groups. I have been fought bitterly by even the outgoing team, all right? They crisscross the groups, they post different things about me, they fight me on how I'm not doing, how I've not participated in the county events. And I just want to use this opportunity to tell people, alumni, no one should scare you because you haven't participated in an event. You have ideas, and those ideas should be listened unto. And that's why the center, during the nomination, hasn't set a criteria that if you haven't participated in a county activity, you should not apply. If I haven't participated in a county activity, I am from Nairobi County, I'm vying for chairperson. Who else is vying for chairperson in Nairobi County if it's not me? I have participated in an activity because I am vying. And by the very fact that you are going to vote in this election, you have participated in an activity. And even for future aspirants, if you have ideas, don't fear coming up. We can all of us come together and work together on some of these issues. I have heard you saying about screenshots. Let me tell you, I have been undergoing even a psychological problem. Some alumni have called me just to find out if I am going well, even late at night, because all the fire has been upon me. There is no way I could defend myself, and I'm alone, all right? Okay? Even my emotional stability had to be regulated because people fighting me, surely, they are outgoing officials. It is very unfair for outgoing officials to choose one aspirant and start fighting in all the aspirants. For heaven's sake, we are 7 aspirants, but Nelson Komba has received the utmost fire. But I want to tell the alumni who are listening to me today, muti wa matunda upigwa mawe zaidi. And that's why you can see that I'm proposing ideas that can work, but you'll find people poking holes in them because they are shocked whether I can do those things. I just want to assure them that the person speaking to you today has the capacity. I have the skills. From my experience in leading alumni in East Africa, not even in Kenya, in East Africa, I have the capacity to ensure that these alumni, they can even be featured in big organizations. That when you are ranking alumni participation in East Africa, yearly alumni will come as #1 because they have not implemented projects at the national level, okay? But they have even partnered with organizations at even at East Africa level to do projects that uplift even individual alumni. And I will finish by saying, if I am voted for this position, no alumni will be a spectator, all right? You will never be a spectator. You will come in and you will roll on your sleeves because
Mr. Komba, if you can hear me.
It's going to scout for opportunities for you, all right?
Mr. Komba.
I think someone was trying to reach me, yes?
Yeah, Mr. Komba, allow me to interrupt you. I've given you 8 minutes of speak. 8 minutes of speak is absolutely more than enough for you to have given your right of reply. So in this particular instance, just take 30 seconds to just wrap up what you're saying, because I asked you about the integrity thing, which was core. You've actually not probably touched on it on the 8 minutes that you've spoken. So in this particular regard, kindly please just put yourself up across within 30 seconds so that I can get into Mr. David to Koek, and this will also enable me to ensure the remaining minutes, which is only 27 minutes remaining, is well featured on across the other contestants. So Komba, 30 seconds to just wrap up.
So just to explain, this is my final remark or I'm responding to the integrity question.
Yeah, please, maybe you can contribute onto that. And the key onto the integrity bit was, I don't know if you're aware, but the alumni chapter of Kenya has data whereby the person who comes into office is meant to take charge of this particular data, right? The key ask that was being floated around is, how possible is Mr. Komba going to take charge of our data, whereas here he is sharing past conversations that he's had with his fellow colleagues? So in no particular way, probably you can just go ahead and give yourself a justification on that and a right of replying to that. And I will urge you really to put it within a minute so that I can get into the next contestant, please.
Okay, I want to believe that the center has got data privacy rules and regulation. All right. I want to believe that data is not given to one person individually because that is even dangerous. All right. So I want to believe that the communication aspect, the communication team, they handle the data. All right. And if it's just to share emails, that is not a problem because when we join office, we should sign the data privacy code of conduct on how we're going to handle that data. I've done that elsewhere else, and I'll still replicate the same. And I want to assure alumni, no any data will be shared out without the due process and the team that has been set from down to up. I will consult with the communication team. I will consult with the other teams to ensure that the data is well protected. And if there is any access to data, then I should be able to give a reason why I'm accessing this data and what exactly I want to do with this data. So I believe it's something of just ensuring that we have guides and rules that are guiding us to do this data, because even if it's one individual handling all the data, then that can be dangerous, as I want to believe. So the whole team that will be elected must ensure that this data has rules and code of conduct how it is accessed. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you, Komba. One quick one, so that I can also manage you in the case of time. I will also wish to just give you a bit of clarity and clarification as far as the center is concerned, and as far as the center is concerned when it comes to giving, what do you call them? Is it referrals and all? We need to give them the benefit of doubt in the sense that in as much as they have not probably been 100% sufficient, I am one of those particular alumni who have benefited so much from the center's referral and reference, including actually one of the recommendations I will wish to just give, just to mention on this particular conversation so that we are able to also support each other beyond this particular call. One of the referrals that was given to the center is to Deloitte. That's the Chief Executive Officer of Deloitte, Mr. Joishan, is a referral that was given to me by the center, by the former Chief of Party, Mr. David Kamau. Number two, also, when it comes to probably how some alumni have benefited so much when it comes to the networks of the center, I've ended up really doing a couple of corporate work. We'll wish to keep this confidential because it's a client, but it's a client that had emerged from the center. So I just felt like for the sake of us having mutual conversations and discussions that go way beyond this particular election, I felt like I had to maybe just give you that for you to also just understand that there are success factors. Maybe some of these particular success factors have not been communicated to the public as it should. And I'm one of them. Then the other bit, and maybe I will allow you to come to the end to give a reply onto it, Mr. Komba. Let's try and make it a discussion. And it all boils down to where you've mentioned the issue of the reports. And I will urge you to maybe note this somewhere and respond unto it on the final call that I'm going to give you before this particular call ends. You mentioned that you've never seen any outgoing, any report from the outgoing team, right? And I know a question that has come in from the side is them asking, have you attended any of the report discussion meetings since 2018, either virtually or physically? And if not, have you probably attempted to make effort to the center to find out whether there could be any reports that are coming out from the alumni chapter of Kenya that goes way to the center? The other bit that probably I'll also maybe want to give you as an issue of reply towards the end is, if voting suffices today, does it mean that things will go quiet again until probably 2023 when the next elections is going to happen, so that these discussions of where is the report, what have we been doing, are we going to hear them in 2023? Why have we not had so much of this conversation coming in when Tim Charles and the rest have been doing all these activities that have been doing around the different jurisdictions that they have been able to say, they've been able to do? And last one for you, Komba, you actually placed yourself under the heat of this particular discussion. The term of the current office ends in April. How is it that you're saying that how is it that you're saying that the current outgoing team have not been able to submit any particular report? I don't know, are you basing your facts from something that you've proven, or is it just a bit of vendetta and hearsay for the sake of this particular campaign, Mr. Komba? Because I know from where they sit, there are a couple of probably reports that they have been doing. And this comes from me as a non-biased party in this particular instance. Komba, I've given you those particular 3 components. I will urge you to give an adequate right of reply to them towards the end of this particular conversation when it comes to an end. Mr. David Tukoik-Ek, sauti ya wanyonge ulivyosema. Mr. David, are you still there?
Yes.
Mr. David?
Yes, I'm there.
All right. Thank you, Mr. David. Thank you for holding put. Allow me to ask you, David, you've heard what our contestants have talked about. One contestant's talking about his ability to create jobs. Do you believe probably from where you sit also you'll want to fly with the same narrative that, hey, Mr. David, I'm coming in with the vision of, hey, I need to create jobs? Number 2 question for you, Mr. David, to Iko-Ek.
Okay, no problem, just proceed, sir. I'll just proceed.
All right, sorry about that. Number 2 for you, Mr. David, the issue of continuity is key here. And I want to probably raise something from you. If you have interacted a little bit with what the outgoing team have done, do you feel like there's a key component onto what you'll want to carry along as part of your philosophy if you're elected into office? And even if you're not elected into office, what do you think needs to be done to ensure that there is continuity within the alumni chapter of the country? And last, which I'll urge you to do, is to sell yourself off and to why you feel you're the best candidate suitable to lead the alumni chapter of Kenya. David, on to you.
Okay, thank you so much, Kelvin. And I think there is some background noise. I don't know from where. A quick one. I would like to make something very clear, something very vital. A discussion like this, what we are having right now, should be a source of critical information that is going to guide the alumni going forward. How we conduct our discussion must really portray the leadership we have. And in this context, as a peace advocate, going personal to such kind of a debate really trigger out personal kind of comments, which again has a very long ripple effect. And I think it's something, I'm just making it very clear because we are all leaders at different capacities. And I thank God that we have such kind of minds in alumni, and they have also registered their interest to be the chairperson. A chairperson position requires a calmness, requires some wisdom. And when I say this, I mean not that I have wisdom, but that's what I have come to realize with past experience. A chairperson is more like, somebody who foresees something very fast and does not give it way to happen, foresee a danger, and propose a mitigative move. So on that note, I'm going straight forward to the first question, networking. This is one of the tools that I believe once we fully exploit as young people, and this is something I've shared with my colleagues from the 4 counties, and we are really helping each other, not only to secure a job opportunity, but to scoop any resource and opportunity available. For example, to further in your studies, to implement a project that you are having, or even to venture into leadership. So networking is something that is within our hands. And I believe it is a direct component that we need to exploit, all of us, wherever we are. And I think it's going to provide some solution, especially to the aspect of lack of job and so forth. The other thing in terms of networking, you need to empower each other, and even under the concept of new public management concept, we really need to capacitate our youth wherever they are, or our fellow alumni wherever they are, and link to them some of the wonderful opportunities that they can exploit based on their vision and also their plans. And I think for the aspect of continuity, especially appreciating the current team headed by Bwana Charles, they have shown what we call extreme level of sacrifice. And to me, that is something, if elected or not elected, I'm going to advocate going forward. And number two, as a chairperson, I really need to think of the sustainability aspect for the alumni chapter. We really need to think of, not all of us can really ride on the path of sacrifice. There are those who shy away. We have to acknowledge that fact that not all of us are willing to sacrifice. And at the same time, they could be having wonderful skills that we can use as an alumni to benefit, or to fast track our objectives. So I think something I need to bring on board is possibly how do we run and manage our resource so that we're able to meet our objective within the shortest time possible, or within the planned time. So I think that is something we will have to discuss in case I'm part of the team with all the entire committee. We prioritize that, guided by our national action plan, as I mentioned earlier. And I think to the last point, why am I unique? And why is David Tuitoek a good bet for the chairperson position? Number one, I'm a graduate in disaster management, and I'm mastering in disaster management and sustainable development. Reason being, I've seen a lot of loopholes in not only my organization that I have, the Kenyan context in terms of governance. I've seen a lot of loopholes, and I majored in policy reform, something that I've even shared, and also shared with Bwana Charles. He can attest that. I've also taken some of the counties to court because of failing to implement the representation of special interest groups, especially PWD, the indigenous community, and the youth. So I have wide expertise on the same. The other thing is why David Tuitoek unique. On the concept of integrity, this is not something I'll just say by word of mouth. I'm going to share with you just two unique experiences. I vied for an MP position with three clear objectives. There are a lot of discriminatory policies that disadvantage young people and is propagating what we call a wide gap between the rich and the poor. And our country is so silent about it. And going to the parliament was one of the avenues or the platform to advocate for that. In the process of campaigning, I knew I was a young person, not loaded with finance, not from the bigger community, but I wanted to send a very clear message to the young people. If you have a vision, if you have a dream, if you have a focus, do not allow obstacles to deter you. And through my candidature, I was approached by my competitor, and he wanted to bribe my way. But I come out very strongly and told him, my candidate is not about Tuitoek. I could have agreed and go with your way. It's about a generation. And if this is what you want, I cannot sacrifice my generation. The second practical aspect I'm sharing is, as the current chairperson for a commission in a church congregation, Catholic Justice and Peace Commission. I normally coordinate Lenten collection, which scale up to almost 1 million. And this is something the church entrusted me through my track record and through my integrity concept. So the last thing that brings or makes Tweetwork a unique aspirant for this position is the energy and the passion that I have. From cohort 41, excited by the knowledge that I have and the knowledge equipped from the YALI, more willing to take up a very challenging position with the intention of instilling hope and activating the transformative leadership that we are all yearn for, even as attributed by the outgoing team. This is something we need to share and preach or really share to the alumni countrywide. And I think that is where I'm focusing on. And I think if given opportunity, I believe YALI will have a strong voice that the county government and the national government must listen to. Thank you so much.
Oh, brilliantly well put, Mr. David Tutugoek. Actually, it energizes me to listen to you talk and really clearly articulate yourself. And as somebody who was extremely feeling unwell the past 1 week and was encouraged by Charles to come into this call, I feel energized when I listen to you speak and plug in ideologies and thematic things that you've done in the past. Well done. That has probably kind of carried me away. Much appreciated, and thank you for sparing time to respond to that. I will want to get into our two last contestants. That's Mr. Hamisi, right? I will wish to get into Mr. Hamisi and onto this particular last stretch, really. I will just want each and every of these particular contestants to just come and probably just mention unto us one word that stands out for them and probably link this particular one word with what they want to do to the alumni chapter of the country. So Tim, remember, I'm just giving you a chance to probably pick up one word that you feel you're passionate about, and probably from that particular one word, link it to the mission that you have for the alumni chapter of the country. And the first person I'm calling by is Mr. Hamisi. Mr. Hamisi, if you're still there, any one word that stands out for you, and let this one word be the mission that you'll want to have for the alumni chapter of the country. Hamisi, if you're there. Hamisi?
Yes.
Yeah. So
I think this is the last lap, right?
Yeah, sure.
All right. So first, I would like to just to tell the viewers and those who are following, let them embrace change. That is the key word I can tell them. Let them embrace change, because Nduna is a person who values change. And one, as I have said, and I'm going to put in point form so that I can conclude in just 1 or 2 minutes, because as I have said, I don't like so many things or so many, talking a lot. One, I want to assure all alumni that your data is going to be safe, because I have experience. I have been managing the data from the Uwezo Fund, which is a national board. Also, I'm also managing data from the financial institutions, which I'm leading as the chair. So their data and their security and everything is going to be intact and it's going to be safe. And then second, all alumni, I want to assure that I'm going to initiate that alumni synergy so that we can have that empowerment to the alumni. Because an example is that sometimes the alumni, as they're doing their own projects, you realize that some, when you go to the ground, they even miss even a fare to get back home, you see. So that shows that as these alumni are doing very great job at the ground level, it also clicked into our mind that still some of our alumni, they don't have something to put on their table. So this is something that I want to assure the alumni that being elected as the chairperson of this chapter, I'm going to create that synergy so that we can empower each and every alumni into success. And then lastly, as Ndune, if elected, I'm going to make sure that the process that is existing in the chapter is going to be energized, is going to be activated so that we can have a bigger impact than it is now. Thank you.
Thank you much, Mr. Ndune, for your remarks. Madam Linda, if you can hear me, are you still there, Madam Linda? Yeah? All right.
Yes, I am.
Madam Linda, all I'm just asking on this particular final word, pick cue from what Mr. Ndune has mentioned across. One word that stands for you, and let that one word be the mission that you have for the chapter. So I don't know which one word you're going to pick, Madam Linda. Hamisi picked the element of change. I don't know what you're going to go with, Madam Linda.
For mine, it will be on inclusion. So what is this, the closing remark?
Yeah, this is the last batch. Yeah, this is the last one.
Okay, mine it will be on inclusion. And to sum it up is that Africa needs a new kind of leadership, an inclusive kind of leadership. When Linda gets into the chairperson leadership position, it's not about the 2 years, but it's about the rest of the years that each and every one of us will have the opportunity to be in this world. So thinking about the 2021 to 2023 leadership is not in my vision. I'm thinking about what next after Linda gets out of that position. What kind of leadership will Linda want to instill in the youth of Africa? And that's the new kind of leadership that I'm hoping. God forbid, maybe if the yearly program will ever be cancelled or Congress decides not to fund it again, how will yearly continue being in the near future? And that is the vision that I have for the youth of Africa. Not only a yearly leadership program, but a transformative program or a transformative kind of leadership that will bring change to the youth of Africa. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Linda. Much appreciated for that. Mr. Linus, if you can hear me, one word that stands for you, and let that one word be the vision and mission of hope that you have for the chapter.
Thank you so much. Hope I can be heard.
Yeah, sure. I can get you clear and sound, Mr. Linus.
So the one word that I can pick is sustainability. And just in a minute, allow me connect this word with my vision. Sustainability in a sense that if elected as the chairperson, to strengthen and sustain the programs that the outgoing leaders initiated and have built on for a number of years they have been in office. Sustainability in a sense that I will work to ensure that our county chapters become the engines and the drivers of our success to the national level as a chapter. Sustainability in a sense that if elected, I will activate the members' contribution at the county levels just to enhance our work as a chapter. Sustainability in a sense that whatever the outgoing team has started, just to mention but a few, like the current team visited 35 county chapters out of 47. I will sustain that program by picking up and visit the remaining 12. In a sense that they ensured that the county chapters start registering CBOs. And so far the current team has ensured that 16 counties chapters have registered CBOs. I will ensure that is sustained and work to ensure that the remaining counties that follow suit. The current leadership has ensured that at least a charitable foundation has been registered to enhance our sustainability. And if elected, I will follow that path to ensure that charitable organization picks up and we do fundraising to sustain the chapter and other projects that the outgoing teams have done. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Linus Ikuchel. Sustainability being the key word that I pick up onto you, change and of course, Madam Linda's resilience and continuity being also key for her. Mr. Komba, I did take a swipe on you on probably a few of the pointers and allegations you're making. That was just for the sake of giving the non-participants a right of response to the claims that you're given from a point of maybe if I'm to rekindle your mindset from the point of reports will be done, and maybe I don't know. Team Charles, I believe Team Charles and the outgoing team before they get off office for their continuity, just the same way from us, there was a report we did, and that particular report is what we submit to the incoming executive team. So probably I told you to probably do a pointers on those particular areas down. We are out of time. I'll want to give you a minute. A minute is 60 seconds, clear and sound. Give a right of reply to probably those particular areas that I called you out on. And once you're done with that, please take one word that you feel you stand for and probably link that particular one word to being the mission and vision that you have when you are elected as the chair of the Alumni Chapter of Kenya. Please, Komba, no exchange, no naming anybody, just keep it on to you and take it away, Mr. Nelson.
Thank you so much. First of all, I just take this opportunity to thank the outgoing team. I think they have been doing a good work. In terms of reports, personally, I haven't received any report. I don't know if it is going down to the challenge of communication that we had, that there were people who did not receive emails to participate in the nomination. So I don't know if it is still the same problem that other people do not receive reports of what the alumni of the leadership is doing. I'll wish to be informed if that is the challenge so that I can also update my email to that database. But going forward, those are some of the things that I'll start by doing. I'll ensure that alumni receive quarterly reports. By quarterly, I mean that we should have a progress report of which kind of projects are happening in different counties. All right, which project are we doing within our national chapter, for instance? Those are the kind of reports. I'm talking about. Personally, I haven't received a quarter report maybe for October. I have not received a quarter report for March. Those are some of the reports I'm talking about. So I don't know if there is another report, or you have developed a full report for the 2 years. Personally, I would want to have a report that I can read, I can digest. And I believe a report for 3 months is well digested than a report for 2 years. Personally, a report for 3 months, it tells you that there's something happening rather than to wait until the 2 years when you can produce a report. So I would wish maybe once I get in office, alumni can receive quarterly reports of what is happening, and their database of email is well updated in the system so that we can receive, because personally, I haven't been receiving the reports. Finally, one word that stands up for me is inclusion and empowerment. I want to ensure that everybody is included in what we are doing. If it's carrying out projects within the counties or projects in a national chapter, I want to ensure that every person feels a sense of responsibility to turn up to those events, all right? So I want even people with disabilities, events going for social events, all right? We should have a platform even for them to go out there and even network, because I feel that should be incorporated. So inclusion of all alumni, the inclusion of their interest in the participation should be well incorporated, maybe in the strategy. Inclusion and empowerment. Alumni, they need to be empowered as a body, all right? If we talk about registering CBOs, these CBOs should not be for the community, but they should be for the alumni, all right? Let these CBOs that we have developed empower the same alumni, all right? Let us do the projects within these CBOs that we have registered that can even uplift our individual alumni to participate once they are participating in these activities. Let the alumni be empowered first, all right? Let the alumni be empowered once they are participating in these in these activities. Finally, I wish to thank all the alumni who have supported me through this process. I know it has not been an easy process, but I want to assure you it is just the beginning of what we want to do together. I will support this process until the end, either elected or not. But I want to assure you that my mind is clear that I saw a vision in Nyali, and I can still see that vision. When 7th and 8th comes, I'll pick that link and vote for Nelson Komba. Once you have voted for Nelson Komba, share with another alumni and tell them this man has a vision that Nyali sees to empower you, okay? To ensure that all of us are included in the activities that Nyali is doing, and all our interests are included in the vision of Nyali. Thank you so much, and I want to wish you a happy Easter.
All right, Mr. Komba, you did run away from a bit of my question, but fair enough. I hope you'll answer it some other day, some other time. Mr. David Tukoek, I am now on to you. One mission, one word that stands for you, and probably make that one word be a vision and a mission that you have for the Alumni Chapter of Kenya. Mr. David, in no particular way, over to you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Brother Kevin. The name is David Tuitoek. I know it's a bit scary, sir. It is Tuitoek, like Swahili name. It's more like Swahili name.
Thank you, Tuitoek.
We will do our own discussion after this.
All right, Huey.
So my one word is transformation. And this is something I carry along in all my work. And how are we going to transform our Nyali? That means building it from wherever it is and picking it to a better position, not just something new. Through effective advocacy, appreciation, and respect to humanity. And I think that is core business. That if we do it, we shall be the alternative, a better option than what we are seeing in other departments or with other sectors, especially in public leadership and so forth. That will be my prayer, because in respect to the initial inception of this Nyali program, it's about transforming Africa. And why are we not transforming Africa, or why is Africa still struggling? It's because of leadership. We just think of new person. So to me, I believe in having a transformative leadership. That is my word. And I'm saying to all alumni with wide experience in election is not about life and death. It's about making a good difference, making use of that constitutional opportunity to say a voice. Vote wisely. David Tuitoek is a strong, passionate alumni. Thank you so much to the outgoing team. And at times we may advocate for our ideas and vision, and maybe can bring out disrespect to your sacrifice. I know as a human being, if you have sacrificed for organization, you know exactly your commitment of what you have done. I have an initial experience of this. It could be a bit detrimental, but forgive us and journey with us as we come in. Thank you so much.
All right, much appreciated, Mr. David Tuitoek. I hope I've gotten your name clear and sound at this particular last minute. Each and every particular person has done what, has given out their one words, has given their pointers. You've all tried to explain yourselves, probably on some occasions, maybe it has been heated. At some point, I also probably did not maybe get the response that I wanted. But then again, it's been an interesting and I hope constructive 2 hours, 9 minutes since we started this. An absolute really pleasure being your host. I find this as really an interesting journey to be part of, because I think it's just the other day, it's just in 2017. 2017, it's already 4 years. I feel like that's been really a long journey for somebody like me. 4 years ago, I attempted to vie for the communications chair position, Alumni Chapter of Kenya. And I think at the course of the day today, I just attempted to take stock of how many alumni were present when I was vying as a communication chair. I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure whether I got my facts right. I don't know if it was only about 357. I don't know if it was about 357 or less. I'm not really sure about that. But to take count, that was 2017, about 355 Kenyan alumni, to right now when it's about 1,000 and something, right? About 1,500. So it really means that's triple. That's, is it quadruple, or that's about already 5 times the number is higher, including the virtual alumni cohort that probably have also gotten into the chapter. And also remember, because I know I maybe also attempted to have a side look onto how voting patterns could happen, whereby as it is right now, I know there are chapters who have alumni of 40 per cohort. I took note of my cohort then, we were only around 11 Kenyans on cohort 11, right? So I was also trying to understand then what really made me be a communications chair. I didn't really have a clear idea whatsoever onto it. But then again, what I remember is that particular role really also broadened my mindset when it comes to really also just understanding diverse groups and how probably also difficult it is running an alumni chapter. It's not like we didn't do initiatives. I know we did do so many events at that particular time. And we also had push and shoves behind the scenes within the executive team. At that particular time, the chair of the alumni chapter was Madam Incredible Amy Ochiel. She was like my boss then. Yes, she was based in Nairobi. I was based in Nairobi. The networking chair actually then was Mr. Amani Katana from Mombasa. We had Mr. Kwei Suleiman as the participant and engagement chair based in Kakamega. And we had an interesting gentleman. He was also a champion of the minority. He is called Mr. Bernard Koech, who was based in Bomet. So leaders and all contestants present on this particular call, my prayer and hope is when you actually get into office to serve, let it be an experience. I hope it also turns out to be an experience that builds you and an experience that enables you to really serve and an experience that probably enables you to tap into your desires and dreams of leading a bigger chapter. Really 1,500 members within your database. Even if actually today you're given that particular database, that is such a big number. And it really calls for a lot of decorum. It really calls for a lot of decency. And I think and believe it really calls for incredible wisdom. And for me, as somebody part of you, I urge you to all preach and speak what you drink, right? I've kind of twisted that. Preach and speak what you drink. If you drink water, really turn out to speak water. And if you're drinking wine, okay, try and attempt to speak drinking wine. Ladies and all gents present, from Madam Linda to Mr. Nelson, to Mr. David, to Mr. Linus, to Mr. Hamisi, and to the entire behind the scenes team who have put this together. I say thank you to Mr. Charles for probably just calling me and reaching out for me to facilitate this. It's an absolute pleasure serving. And as I always say behind the scenes, on myself and within me is may God use me as his voice and tool of instrument. And I hope probably this particular afternoon, besides me being under the weather, I hope really God has used me as an instrument and vessels. Calm the energies down, calm the fights down. I hope you guys enjoyed yourselves. And with all those many remarks that I've said, allow me to take this to Mr. Charles Munyua. Honorable Mr. Charles Munyua, thank you for having me. If you can listen to me, probably from me, it's done and dusted. I'll wish to take it to you so that you can close it up for us. Thank you, team, and I hope we'll get to meet and engage at some point. Please feel free to reach out and stay safe, stay blessed, and have a blessed, good Easter Monday. Thank you, and bye-bye. Mr. Charles, probably over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, Kevin. You've really done a fantastic job moderating the debate today. Thank you to all our attendees who have stayed till this point. Thank you to all the panelists and contestants. We decided to extend the time for the debate today because it was quite important and very key issues were coming out. And I really appreciate that you have all stayed up to the end. So this marks the end of our debate series for the 5 positions, which we have done from 1st to 5th. You can now continue to do your campaigns in the various groups. The elections will be on Wednesday and Thursday, and hopefully we should get the results before the end of the week. Once again, thank you so much. Have a splendid end of the Easter weekend and a productive week. Asanteni sana. And all the best to the contestants. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Is it possible we have a photo?
You want a group photo? So what we do,
Yes.
although this will apply only for the panelists, not the attendees, please put your camera on, and then I'll try and do a group photo from my end.
Yes.
Linda, Nelson, okay, Kevin's, Linda. Linda, if you could please turn your video on. I don't know if Linda, okay, she's coming on now. Okay, and you guys have done a splendid job. I think whichever outcome we have from this election, I know the chapter will be in very good hands. And as I have said before, again and again, I'm very committed to supporting the team that will be elected. You have our full support. Don't fear, you can always approach us. We have an open door policy. So please feel free to reach out to us anytime. Asanteni sana, and see you soon. Thank you.
See you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Linda, pleasure connecting.
Pleasure connecting to Linus. All the best.
All the best. You guys have been great.
Thank you. You too.